إذا أوكي خبرني. أوكي. A very warm welcome from the Bahrain Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and thank you for joining us today in this webinar, which will shed light on the services offered by Exports Bahrain and how to benefit from them. I'm very honored to be with you today. My name is Aisha, and I'm a member of the media team of the Chamber. With me here today is the board member and head of the committee steering group, Ms. Sonia Janahi. Joining us virtually will be the Acting Chief Executive of Exports Bahrain, Mrs. Safa Abdel Khaliq, and also the Chief of Business Development and Export Solutions, Mrs. Fatma Rastam. Let me take you through the agenda of today's webinar. We will commence with a welcome address by Mrs. Sonia Janahi, followed by an opening remark by Mrs. Fatma Abdel Khaliq. And then Fatma Rostam will take us in a presentation that will shed light on the services of Exports Bahrain and how to benefit from them, the eligibility criteria as well. And then later on, the founder and managing director of GridPen, Mrs. Raja Taha, will share her experience with Exports Bahrain and how she benefited from their services. And then we'll open the floor for your questions. You might want to write them in the chat box or raise a hand to address them directly to our speakers. And now, without further ado, I leave the floor to Mrs. Sonia Janahi.
Good afternoon, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Board of Directors at Bahrain Chamber and the entire business community, it is truly a pleasure to welcome you all to this virtual webinar, Export Bahrain Solutions, Opportunity to Expand Your International Reach and Capture Export Potential. I am very eager and honored today to have this distinguished relationship that binds both Bahrain Chamber and Export Bahrain. Bahrain Chamber plays a prominent role in shaping the national economy of Bahrain and creating a vigorous private sector. And from this standpoint, seeking avenues of cooperation between Bahrain Chamber and Export Bahrain is very important, especially during such challenging times as we are facing today with the pandemic of COVID-19. As such, I seize this opportunity to welcome you all to this crucial webinar where we will discuss how the private sector can take advantage of export opportunities to grow their businesses and thrive. Whilst the onset of coronavirus pandemic has presented economic challenges for many sectors, it has also accelerated a new wave of innovation and opportunities, which through technology is today giving global outreach to local businesses from Bahrain to the world. It is pertinent to focus on innovation and reconstruction and how the private sector can utilize export opportunities to increase their exposure, their brand identity, and their reach. Export development is a key priority for the kingdom. The total value of the kingdom's non-oil exports in 2020 reached $8.1 billion US. And through our close partnership with government efforts, we are aiming and looking forward to achieve further growth in the coming years. We recognize Export Bahrain's key role in providing an ideal environment to support and develop domestic exports, be it products or services, and to achieve Bahrain's Vision 2030 of endorsing export-oriented sectors and introducing the world to Bahraini products and Bahraini services. We highly value the cooperation between the Bahrain Chamber and Export Bahrain to consolidate efforts towards a better business environment to all. And I welcome my two esteemed guests today from Export Bahrain, Mrs. Safa Sharif Abdel Khaliq, the acting CEO, and Mrs. Fatma Rostam. I hope that this will be an interesting and useful webinar for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Janahi, for your welcoming remark and shedding light on the common goals of Bahrain Chamber and Export Bahrain. And now over to you, Mrs. Safa.
Thank you, Sonia. Thank you, Aisha. It's been an immense pleasure. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for your time. I'm extremely honored to join you along with my colleague Fatma Rustam, who's currently heading and overseeing the entire operations at Export Bahrain. We are very happy to be joining you in this virtual gathering today to talk about the objectives, the mandate, and the vision of Export Bahrain and its various solutions and other initiatives that's aimed to support the growth of SME exports in specific in Bahrain. And as you may be aware, Export Bahrain was launched on 11th of November 2018 with a key mission to promote, to nurture, and to accelerate the growth of both product and service exports made in Bahrain. Our main objective is to create tangible value and results to exporters through the creation of a broad network of essential partnerships, be it locally or internationally, in order to assist our buyers and sellers with their objectives during every step of their export journey, to both encourage the ease and competitiveness of exporting from Bahrain, and also to equip our SMEs with the capabilities to position themselves globally and to allow them to identify opportunities in international markets. I believe it's been a successful journey since the launch of Export Bahrain, and we are extremely proud to say that during the last 2 years, Export Bahrain has supported the facilitation of over $60 million worth of exports. We have supported over 45 unique product and service categories across 9 sectors, representing over 111% increase if I compare it to 2019. We have achieved around 22% of them were new exporters who had exported actually for the first time. 45% of them entered into new markets. So they used to export, but they entered into new markets. 40% of them were women, representing over 400% increase if I compare it to 2019. We also have around 12% service exporters, and we have tapped into 48 markets in total. We actually tapped into 18 new markets in 2020 alone. So Export Bahrain works alongside local and international partners to offer Bahraini SMEs with greater international opportunities, exposure, knowledge, and solutions to compete on a global level through multiple streams of solutions, which takes care of exporters' needs in terms of insurance requirements, be it shipping support, access to international buyers, local and international promotions, e-commerce platforms, financing requirements, and many others that we will be hopefully introducing in the market very soon. The details of it will definitely be shed light and will be explained further by Fatma Rustam. I believe that moving ahead, we will continue to drive our efforts to promote national exports and uplift the competitiveness capabilities of Bahraini businesses in global markets, and will continue to build on the success of the first year of Export Bahrain and encourage a national export culture that will continue to position Bahrain as a key business hub for exporters, and will continue to introduce and enhance a diversified portfolio of services and solutions that will help in accelerating the growth of exports with a drive to build on value, support economic growth, fuel innovation, and reinforce Bahrain's position as a strategic global export hub by being a solution provider. I take this opportunity once again to thank you for organizing such an interactive event, and looking forward to strengthen our fruitful ties and partnerships with Bahrain Chamber for the sake of supporting made in Bahrain products and services to be export oriented and ready to compete in regional and global markets, inshallah.
Thank you, Mrs. Safa, for your kind words and for shedding light on the remarkable efforts of Export Bahrain. Well, this is amazing. Actually, you have achieved so much in such a short period of time. We hail you on that. And now we leave the floor to Mrs. Fatma.
You'll upload the file? Okay.
Assalamu alaikum. It's a pleasure to be part of this webinar, and I hope I can benefit all of you today and give you a brief insight on Export Bahrain products and services, and how can Export Bahrain help you and help the private sector grow their businesses and go international, and how it fits in general in the overall ecosystem. I will start with If you can please share the screen, Aisha.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I'll start with the first solution, which is the export credit insurance. We have partnered with Daman, which is the Arab Investment and Export Credit Guarantee Corporation, to introduce the first export credit insurance solution in Bahrain. We did this to protect Bahraini exporters against the risk of losses and non-payment that occurs because of like an international buyer defaulting a payment, for example. This solution reduces the payment risk and provides exporters with assurance that the payment will take effect even if the international buyer is unable to pay for any reason, whether it's a commercial reason or non-commercial reason. Basically, the insurance partner will be reimbursing 80% up to 90% of the amounts, and sometimes it could reach even up to 100%. And Export Bahrain will be covering 80% of all costs tied to this insurance policy, whether it's the admin fee, the premium fee, or even the buyer investigation fee. 80% of the customers who avail this product didn't have the guts to deal with customers in different markets and new markets. They were hesitant to take that step. But now, thanks to this insurance policy, they have a diversified range of customers in different markets because it allows them to know more about the customers that they deal with and the markets that they tap into. The customers are now also more confident to provide more competitive credit terms to control the risk of default. Another solution that Export Bahrain provides is the export shipping and logistics. What we did is that we have partnered with different trade and logistics industry companies, whether they are the cargo companies or the freight forwarders or even the airlines, to provide our customers with competitive rates. It could reach up to 80% sometimes discounts on market rates to support their shipping needs. This is not only like for a specific export need, or it could be for land, for sea, for air freight, based on the customer requirements and the product requirements and all that. We have various options for all customers, for small volume international buyers, for large volume international shipments and all that. Other than the competitive market rates, the companies are even providing customers with free of charge insurance packages, free awareness sessions for all new exporters. They take care of their legal and government requirements at destination, and they make sure that they're being supported to deliver the goods and everything and obtain and certificates and all that. So we provide them with A to Z solution when it comes to the exports and logistics. The third solution I'm going to be shedding light on is the export facilitation and deal support. When I talk about facilitation, it's not just linkages to international buyers and global customers. It's more, it's that plus like even different relationships with different government bodies, with different government agencies that can support these companies to overcome some obstacles or issues that they're facing when they're exporting. This product has gained a lot of interest from businesses because we work very closely with the customers to make sure we close the deals with their buyers. We go into meetings with them, we sit with them, we guide them through different processes and procedures of the customs and trade partners. Here we create the bridge and connect the customers and the buyers and make sure they tap into that market they're targeting. We have supported a lot of service exporters as well. We facilitated exports for makeup consultations, for online yoga classes, for marketing services, for interior design. We have facilitated some regulatory issues with customers. Like, for example, we had a customer who had a shipment stuck in the Saudi customs because of a new certificate that they have launched. It is the halal certificate for food products. And we have managed to get a temporary solution for the customer with the Saudi Food and Drug Authority and help them move the shipment and minimize these financial implications of the delay, and gave them a grace period to apply for the requested certificate. Another solution that we have launched is internationalization support. This solution is about supporting businesses through facilitations and other support to establish business presence in international markets. So not only export promotions and deal flow, but we take them to the big next step, which is like having a Bahraini franchise sit in international markets. Another solution that we're very proud of that we have launched in the past year is the e-commerce support. We have partnered with different prominent e-commerce platforms with an aim to connect products and services made in Bahrain to the international market and support them in facilitating transaction-based support and online commerce activities and all that. What we did is that we partnered with these e-commerce platforms to offer discounted rates to Bahraini customers and Bahraini businesses to help them list their products on these platforms. It could be like discounts on commission fees, discounts on listing fees, and other services as well, like, for example, photography, supporting them with their photo shoots, supporting them and creating awareness and trainings and advisory on how to use these platforms and all that. We have current partnerships with Homies, with Wafi, with Fila, and also Noon, and we're in the process of signing different partnerships with different prominent platforms in the market. Another solution that I'm going to be explaining today and talk about is the export tendering. This program enables export Bahrain customers and provides them with procurement and tendering information services with an aim to cover information from all countries. This supports exporters to get global tenders locally by capturing all kinds of notices. It provides them with a notification system. It provides the local businesses with a notification system in order to get attention as soon as a public tender is published in a different country. Another solution that we're very proud of is the International Retail Buyer Initiative. We have partnered with Lulu Hypermarket to provide different made in Bahrain products, the opportunity to be outside. The partnership is in line with our vision to encourage Bahraini products to be outside of Bahrain. And we have been working very closely with Lulu Hypermarket to identify the products and services that could be located in their international regional shelves. And we have managed to support a lot of made in Bahrain products to be presented regionally and internationally. Our partnership with Lulu has three elements. It is helping companies shelf their products out of free of charge for 3 months within the local shelves of Bahrain Lulu hypermarkets, as well as introducing these products to their regional and international hypermarkets, as well as providing opportunities for Bahraini products to be privately labeled by Lulu hypermarkets. So it's like three elements, and we're actually in discussion with a lot of other retail stores, and inshallah, hopefully by the end of this year, we're going to have a lot of more partners on board. Another solution that I would like to talk about is the export financing. We have launched this actually in collaboration with Temkin and other partner banks, wherein we provide short-term financing for exporters for like sort of deal-based access to export financing to capture international business opportunities and global growth. Here, Temkin subsidizes up to 70% of the nominal profit, rate capped at 9.5%, and we support like 50% of the admin fee and 50% of the guarantee as well. But while dealing with customers, we realized that it is not the financing that they require. It is more of the knowledge and the know-how of and the guidance they need and the advisory and how to negotiate certain issues with different countries. So from that, we have launched our export market intelligence, which provides businesses with market information and support to enable exporters access more resources about international markets. This relates to various tools and solutions to help exporting businesses understand their studies, their industry information, trade leads, trade data, analysis about like the markets that they're targeting, and help them understand better about these international businesses. We have different platforms that we have launched as part of the market intelligence, which is like the trade map, the export potential map, the market access map. These are all part of our website, and if you require like any additional information on that, we will be very happy to support you. But as a company, you can access that through the website and just obtain all the information you require through just providing your HS codes. Another thing that we offer is the expert advisory in collaboration with different partners and in collaboration with the players in the market. We provide advisory to our customers. We make them understand more about their market potentials, market regulations, international linkages. So our solutions are not just like the solutions we have on our website or the flagship solutions that we provide. Whatever the customer requires, even if it's not within our solutions, we would take that extra effort to go and understand more and provide more details for the customers. Another thing that we have introduced is the export packaging and labeling in collaboration with different various local and international partners. Export Bahrain supports in providing specialized advisory services through building extensive information base and knowledge to assess local exporters with all the required aspects related to their packaging, labeling, marketing, optimization of technical aspects of packaging, and all that from A to Z, from the manufacturing, sourcing, producing, up until it goes to the customer, the end customer. Another thing that we are currently working on is the exporter directory, it is sort of like an exporter database which can provide access to different types of services and helps companies understand what is available in Bahrain, not only for products, but also for services. So even as a country itself, in Bahrain, we will be able to get and understand who's producing what. We might know particular producer for a service or a product, but there might be other producers that we're not familiar with, smaller ones in operations, but also they could produce the same sort of quality, you know. So the National Exporter Database will act as like the holistic database for all of the made in Bahrain products and services to enhance their marketability and international linkages. Another thing that I want to mention today is that we're currently working on upgrading and revamping our website, export.bh, to reflect the current phase of the initiative and its goals, and and it will be effectively communicating all the products and services to all the stakeholders and the customers. The long-term aspiration is to develop a national portal for Export Bahrain, and it's going to be designed around the needs of all the customers who would like to export their products. To conclude, I would want to encourage all of you, all of the businesses who export and who have potential to export, to please reach out to Export Bahrain. Follow us on Instagram, Export Bahrain, or call us directly on 17383-999, and we will provide you with all the support you require. Export Bahrain will handhold you to export your products to the world. And for we're here to support you in any way and in every way you require. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Fatma, for highlighting your extensive services and products and solutions. Well, you tapped on a lot of things, insurance, financing solutions, market intelligence, exporter directory, and many others. From here, I also invite our participants to take a look at your website again, to have another look at the services that you're offering. And now I have with us the Managing Director of GridPin, Mrs. Raja Taha. She will share her story with Export Bahrain and how she succeeded in exporting. Mrs. Raja, are you with us?
Yes.
Yes, hi, good afternoon to you all. This is Raja Taha Hassan, as I'm presenting my GridPin design project as well. As we have started in 2018, creating the new concept of stationery as Bahraini brand, as we started as selling products on, as an online-based platform, then we moved to Sigillat and new Sigilli program as well. While we moved to Sigilli, it gives me different opportunities and lots of advantages and different phases. One of the phases was to know more about Export Bahrain, as they came one of our most important stages. And Export Bahrain, we had done lots of things. We started being officially in all around the world. We met Mrs. Fatma Rustam and Mrs. Safa, as they were my all-time contact persons, and they both did many virtual meetings, and it was during the Corona season, but they let me start being in this, instead of anything else. They really did a very good job, and they were always up in updates and taking care of the biggest and smallest details. We had sent more than as we actually expected to export, especially during the Corona period. It wasn't that much easy, to be honest. And each and every stage, Export Bahrain was always in touch. They were always trying to reach the best and perfect services and solutions, and all things in between. Export Bahrain had really did a perfect work, where they even helped me also in importing, not importing, but in guide me how to reach the import, even if it wasn't their main job, but they really used to listen always to me and even arrange all things together based on their relationships and social links. They was not only there for our happy times. Export Bahrain took a very strong place in solving up our all issues. We had many issues that we had with our shipments in different countries, but Export Bahrain had really did a very good job in reaching us to that level of having solutions that offer us to be in different countries all around the world, starting from the Saudi Arabia, the KSA, moving to Kuwait, Oman, even in Jordan, Amman. We really had reached many different countries all around. Export Bahrain really give us many benefits, like in exporting the insurance, as we dealing with many companies and making bulk sales. So Export Bahrain gives us the insurance that keep other companies trust us. more into the e-commerce support with it was like they starting listing us in different e-commerce platforms exporting Bahrain. It's really was an I enjoyed being an expert Bahrain as a Bahraini trademark, and I will always keep sharing my experience with them. Thank you always for having me in this meeting, and it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Mrs. Raja, for sharing your experience with Export Bahrain. I'm just curious about your experience. If you allow me to ask you just one question, how many countries did you export to?
Like more around seven to eight countries.
Oh.
But all of this was in around 8 months.
Brilliant, brilliant. I wish you every success in your business. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I take this opportunity to thank you all, and especially our speakers, for joining us today and sharing such valuable information. Special thanks to Mrs. Safa and Mrs. Fatma for joining us from Export Bahrain. Now, I open the floor to your questions and deliberations. You can raise a hand if you wish to address a question, or write it in the chat box. See if we have questions.
Nawaf al-Jishi.
Yes, with us here, Mr. Nawaf al-Jishi, please.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, BCCI, for arranging this, I would say, a breakthrough presentation and a forum for the Export Bahrain and then the possibilities. I am the Nawaf al-Jishi, the chairman of Bahrain Society of Private Training Institutes, and the committee, education committee member responsible for training and human resources in BCCI. I actually wonder what are the success stories of Export Bahrain for services like training. Training business, we are facing numerous challenges because the size of Bahrain, it's the dependency on I would say the government funding that limits our possibilities, and we need to expand. And then the training sector is very mature here with all the, I would say, the local organizations such as Bahrain Quality Authority, BQA, and the High Council for Training and Education Development headed by Sheikh Mohammed bin Mubarak. The direction of the country was always about improving the quality. This quality level and the size of the training business cannot be contained only in Bahrain and then depend on funding only. Therefore, we have to have other ways. And the quality of the service is very high, but we need to know what are I would say, the success story for services to be exported. The focus, of course, products are easier, clear for them to be exported. It is the main, I would say, direction of any export industry. It would be the products. Services as well, they have the chance. And I believe with the presence of the online business now, the possibilities are wider for us to export our services. How can Export Bahrain help us as a society for us to spread this, I would say, the culture of export and give to facilitate this endeavor? Thank you very much.
We'll address this question.
Fatma wala Safa, who's going to be answering this question, please?
I will initially, and then probably maybe Fatma would like to build on that. Thank you, Mr. Noah, for the question. Indeed, I mean, as I mentioned initially in the presentation, that Export Bahrain supports businesses who export products and services as well. Of course, all the initiatives that Fatma talked about is open to both products and services, with the exception of export credit insurance, where this year, inshallah, we are working on amending and enhancing and creating more partnerships around the export credit insurance. Because currently the partnership that we have, what we offer is specifically for the products, but we will be opening it up to services very soon. So far, we had supported, as Fatma mentioned in her presentation, we've supported the exports of makeup consultations. We supported exports of yoga, online yoga classes. We supported the export of marketing services. We've supported the export of a Bahraini chef to export her recipes to a boutique restaurant in London. We have supported to export the services of an interior designers. I have to say that supporting the services sector might take a little bit of time, but we do have the export facilitation support, which basically opens up opportunities for service exporters in Bahrain to tap into new markets. It does take a little bit more time than getting the products exported out, but we are working on increasing the number this year, inshallah. The focus will be on increasing the numbers for the service exporters. So far, we have supported around 12% from the universe of export customers are service-based exporters.
Mrs. Fatma, would you like to add something, or should we move to the next question?
I think Safa covered it all. I just want to reiterate on what she said with regards to the export credit insurance. Currently, our partnership with Bahrain does not include the service sector, but we're in negotiations with other partners that could provide that. And hopefully, inshallah, before the end of this year, we're going to have different partners who will be providing these services to even service sector.
Right. Thank you, Ms. Fatma. Now we'll address some of the questions that we have in the chat box here. Ali wrote a question in both languages, actually. He says, could you give us some numbers regarding the volume of demand for your services? And has the pandemic imposed greater need for the export process? I think part of this question was addressed at the beginning of the webinar, but you might want to repeat it. So he's asking basically about the demand for your services, the volume of it, and the impact of the pandemic.
Sure. I think the challenges with regards to the pandemic has been a repeated question, but just to answer the question again, as I mentioned in the initial presentation again, in the last 2 years, ever since the launch of Export Bahrain till date, I believe the demand has been increasing and has been taking an upward trend, specifically because most of the exporters have been utilizing export solutions, specifically the export facilitation, specifically the export credit insurance, because it provides them with a safety net in a market situation as such. So in the past 2 years, we've actually supported the facilitation of over 60 million worth of exports. We've supported 45 unique products and service categories across 9 different sectors. We've 22% of our customers, are new exporters and have not exported before, which represented 30% increase during the Corona period as compared to 2019. 45% of them entered into new markets, which they didn't expect to do that, pre-Corona. So that represented another 47% increase in comparison to 2019. 40% of the universe of export customers are women, which represented over 450% increase in comparison to 2019. And we've actually tapped into 48 countries in total, ever since the launch. And specifically, we have tapped into 18 new markets in 2022. Now, with regards to the pandemic and the challenges, I believe with the current market situation, there was and probably, there still are various procedural challenges which had affected exporters' ability to conduct their international transactions related either to the lockdown in certain areas, the restrictions on certain products to be exported, or even when it comes to the hesitation of some buyers or exporters to close deals. However, as we launch, we test the products, we listen to the market, we try to respond more, we adjust, we adapt. And this is why we have come up with various solutions and services to provide numerous options, numerous avenues for our customers targeting objectives. So our shipping solutions, our customers will have the option to do it through air, through land, through sea. Over 80% lower than the market price. We have introduced the retail initiative. We have introduced the e-commerce platforms where if they come through us, they're not going to be charged anything. We have introduced a trade map facility which looks into identifying the different market potentials, gives the exporters more information about the pricing, about competitive landscape, about the different issues that companies need to understand so that they can self-navigate around different issues that may be considered. We have our e-learning platform, which provides dozens of free courses and virtual trainings for the companies to be able to understand different complex issues that may encounter in terms of contracting, customs, and other issues that might, need their consideration from the beginning. So they are less theoretical and more practical on, the day-to-day issues. And yes, of course, I believe if you ask me, this is the time to export because as many countries are actually facing lockdowns and facing challenges relating to accessing their customers in the normal way. And right now, there is a global marketplace that will help you to diversify your opportunities and get you to make sure that your business grows despite the challenges. There is always opportunities out there as you shift. And Export Bahrain will definitely help businesses to achieve these objectives, inshallah. Oh, we also have another one of the very important initiatives that was also launched during the pandemic, which is the international tendering. So now, once the business is actually registered with Export Bahrain, with a click of a button, they can actually get notified with all the international tenders related to their industry so that they could bid for. So this is another opportunity.
Right, Mrs. Safa, thank you for your answer. Well, it's clear that the pandemic offered opportunities as well as the risks and enhanced the appetite of business owners to diversify, to look into opportunities in other markets, to remoderate their business models. Thank you so much, Mrs. Safa. Now I have a raised hand by Ms. Huda Radi.
Yeah, hi.
Hello.
Yeah, I have actually two questions. One, can advisory registered in your website to be exposed to the international market? And the second question regarding financing, what other banks than Tadamun you have in Bahrain for SMEs to do the LG, letter of credit, letter of guarantee, letter of credit? And is there an entity in Bahrain, because in the past when I checked, we don't have this as such for SMEs to hedge the currency in case of fluctuations. Is there any particular banks in Bahrain that do the hedge funds for the SMEs and to do the LC and the LG for them when it comes for exporting and importing? Thank you.
Mrs. Safa or Mrs. Fatma?
I'll take that, yeah. I'll take that. Okay, so I think the first part of the question was which banks are currently partnering with Temkin for the export finance. We have partnered with the Bahrain Development Bank and Salam Bank as well as BISB. Bahrain Islamic Bank for the export financing solution. Well, unfortunately, as of today, the export financing solution is not active because of the COVID. Temkin had to stop all the programs and focus on the business continuity program. However, we are very, very optimistic that it will reopen, inshallah, export financing program, and SMEs will be able through these three banks to obtain their LCs, their their export finance that is tied to a particular export transaction, and even different sort of the operating like finance that they require and all that. With regards to the hedge fund for SMEs, I'm actually not very sure which one of them provides that, but I can get back to you, Huda, if you can just share your email with us, and we're going to get back to you with an answer.
Right. Thank you, Mrs. Fatma. We have a question here or a comment in the chat box. It says, why the laws and regulations, legislations for export are not available in English? So it's a complaint.
Yes, you're muted, Safa. Can you unmute, please?
I agree. As a matter of fact, even, I mean, as Fatma mentioned, we are now having a facelift for the entire website of Export Bahrain. But even before that, if you now log on, we do not have a comprehensive list and, you know, lots of information that's missing from the website. Hopefully, all these laws and regulations, which we can actually extract from the relevant entities and all the program details and all the relevant information, the restrictions, all the new requirements because of the pandemic that has been imposed will all be part of the website and will be available in both languages very soon, inshallah.
Inshallah. Now we have a raised hand, Isam Hadi. Yes, Mr. Isam?
Yeah, assalamu alaikum. How are you all?
Yeah.
I would like to thank Safa and Fatma because I've been working with them before, and they have, mashallah alayhim, they have been supporting a lot. But I think one thing we have discussed many times was regarding, sorry, I'm outside home, so that reason I'm not even putting the camera because if, okay, I'll put it on anyway. Okay, so I'm wearing masks, so let's make sure. Okay, so one thing I think we have discussed many times with Fatma and Safa is regarding the small business, or not small business, what they call the micro businesses, and because I consider myself that and others, we look at the orders that we receive from outside Bahrain are not to the size that mostly the shipments category goes for it. We're talking about, you know, like 20 kg, 60 kg, 15 kg. These we receive orders for exporting to Bahrain. I know it's small, but should be there's a way to facilitate this for people to grow faster, because me and others like me are complaining about that, because we totally, when we find small shipping, we try to ship out, people consider us as nothing, like, you know, something like that. So I think there's something from, I've already discussed with Safa and Fatma. I hope there is another solution, because we really at the moment, we find this is the most expensive thing to pay for shipping. And a lot of our customers in Oman and Saudi or even in Kuwait, they stop importing from Bahrain from us. And that's due to the shipping, because they believe the shipping cost is even higher than the goods itself they're buying. Thank you very much.
Right, thank you, Mr. Isam. Comments on shipping costs and how to reduce shipping costs.
Thank you, Ustad Isam, على المداخلة, and it's good to see you. Ustad Isam, I believe that the last time that we have spoken was like maybe at the beginning of last year. Since then, we have onboarded a lot of additional like cargo companies and freight forwarders, and we have many more deals that can get you very competitive shipping rates and discounts. Please reach out again, and you're going to be happy with us.
Right. We have a very important question by Rashid Al-Snan in the chat box. He's asking whether you're going to have commercial attaché, or you have the plan of launching a commercial attaché in embassies representing Bahrain abroad. Is this in the pipeline?
Thank you, Ustad Rashid, for the question. I mean, we have discussed this with Mr. Rashid like the past week or a couple of weeks, and we have actually taken this initiative and we're giving it like a detailed feasibility study, and we're doing our cost analysis, cost-benefit analysis of that. And inshallah, once we have the results, we're going to be sharing them with our board and see the board's direction on that.
If I can just reiterate and just add on to what Fatma just explained with regards to, the various plans, we will continue to introduce and enhance a diversified portfolio of services and solutions, and taking into considerations all the feedback that we're getting from our partners, from our stakeholders, from our customers, that will help in accelerating the growth of our exports, with a drive, as I said, to build on value. And we want to do that through increasing efficiency of export solutions. We want to do that by entering into new export partnerships, which will help us in facilitating new avenues for Bahraini SMEs, whether it be in e-commerce, whether it's in retail initiative, whether it's through shipping and logistics initiatives. We want to expand and refine our solutions to venture into new areas focused on internationalization. We want to minimize information asymmetry by upgrading our market intelligence platform to identify new opportunities. We are currently working on a national exporter database, as Fatma mentioned, which will showcase and promote for Made in Bahrain products and services. And this will help in enhancing their marketability and international linkages. And we'll also be currently upgrading and revamping our website, as we mentioned, to reflect the current phase of the initiative with a long-term aspiration to develop a national portal with holistic digital services that will be designed around the needs of our export customers.
Excellent. I think since we've reached, we don't see any more hands up or questions in the chat box. I have one question, Safa, for you and Fatma. A lot of companies that want to start exporting need to also have certain certifications or licensings like ISO and these sort of issues, depending on what sector they are related to. Will Export Bahrain be supporting these SMEs on getting the necessary accreditation to make them export qualified so that they can address a bigger audience of buyers beyond Bahrain?
Thank you, Sonia. Very important question. As you know, and as I've been mentioning that with specifically, and from 2022, ever since the pandemic, and we have been notified of the various requirements by some of the markets, specifically Saudi Arabia, which has come up with lots of, certification and licensing requirements. Currently, we try as much as we can to actually, we are in touch with the relevant authorities to make sure that we ease the process, even if they can't get the licenses or the certifications now. We try to get in touch with the authorities there, and they give them at least a grace period for them to, finalize the relevant requirements. So yes, we are in constant touch, trying to partner, trying to, build connections with the relevant entities so that they could, give us and give us more information and details on the future requirements and what is needed, so that any customer, before they go out, before they want to export, we embed all this information in our market intelligence platform. And once we sit with them as part of our advisory, they have all the relevant details. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure if Fatma mentioned it in the beginning, but we have various partners when it comes to the shipping and logistics, as she mentioned, for small businesses and big businesses as well. Some of our partners actually take care of all these requirements from the very beginning. So yes, we are trying as we go along to, with our partners, to make sure that we are aware, we are, we have all the requirements of the licenses and certificates that they require, and try to ease the process as much as we can with the customer. We enter into meetings with our customers. We are the ones who actually, talk to the authorities and make sure, how we can come up with solutions to actually ease or provide more extensions to our customers to make sure that their products don't get stuck a specific period of time.
Right. Thank you, Mrs. Raja. I think His Excellency, Safa, yes. His Excellency, Mr. Dhafir Al-Amran would like to add something. Do we have it? Dhafir.
Okay, now it's muted now. Okay. First of all, sorry, al-khair. I have raised my hand maybe 10 times. And
sorry about that.
You asked at the beginning either to raise your hand or to comment. I raised my hand, I commented. I raised my hand, I commented, but it's a difficult situation. Anyway, it's always like this when I have sessions with the Chamber of Commerce and they mute people and people cannot speak. In my Zoom, when I make Zoom with other people, when it's time to questions, I open the mute so that people are free to communicate with you guys. You don't want it to be one-sided. You want it to be both-sided. That's the essence and advantage of sessions like this. Anyway, thank you, Sonia, for chairing this session. And I want to thank Safa and Fatima for their presentations. I want to congratulate them for Export Bahrain. But at the same time, you know, I want to also to mention to them, and maybe I like to have their feedback. They mentioned, at least they touched on the importance of encouraging SMEs to be able to develop them and to mentor them to be able to know how to export the goods outside, especially the young entrepreneurs. The young entrepreneurs are still fresh. They need help, they need mentoring, they need workshops. I don't know whether you are doing any workshops for them. It's if you are going to Fatima to tell them about all what you told us today, I think young entrepreneurs will get lost. It's too much information and I don't know whether they'll grasp it. But what's important is bring them to you, let them sit with you, let them listen step by step and know what you really want from them to think, how they should think, how they should really understand the mechanism in order to be able to put together their projects of export to the outside. It is really important. Also, we have today like 50, we had before 60 people, now we have 55. It's important not for me to listen to you, Fatima, or to you, Safa. I think it's important for the young entrepreneurs. We need to have half of this session or 3/4 of it young people sitting here and listening and learning from both of you. It's not enough that we do it. We know it, and I am from the Bahraini Society for SMEs. We teach our kids what to do. I don't need to listen to sessions like this, but I am curious to see what you really had to offer. I think what you're offering is important, but it's really, really important for you to make a reaching hand to the young people, young entrepreneurs who are badly in need of mentoring. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. That was an excellent insight, as a matter of fact, and we 100% agree with you. As a matter of fact, Your Excellency, the new exporters, the statistics that I gave for the new exporters are the younger ones, are the actually new ones who've entered the market, and we try our best as much as we can to reach out to this segment in specific, because there is a lot of potential. And most of the time they think it's very difficult for them to be exporting, and they have the potential and creativity to come up with new line of products as well. We are also thinking about incentivizing the new exporters. They come up, they open up to new markets, they start exporting, or they come up with a new line of product. Because there is a huge potential basically, but we are trying our best as much as we can so that we go out and spread the message and what's in it for them through our webinars. I know that we have been taking a backseat when it came to webinar in 2020 because of what happened, but we are trying to, as part of our new strategy for this year, we'll be increasing these sessions, the mentorship, the advisory, and also our webinars, hoping to reach out to more numbers when it comes to this segment, inshallah.
Right, thank you, Raja. We have Isam Al-Hadi. Safa. Isam Hadi, would you like to add something?
Yes, yes. Sonia, thank you for reminding me something when you spoke about the ISO, because I have discussed something else with Safa, I think 2 years ago, and it was about franchising. One of the things is for Bahraini products, there's much of them that we would like to take them out as a franchising, and to create that franchising manual and documents and all these things, licensing, it's quite a big amount of money have to be paid for it. And I think we discussed that time, because if that is done, that means an opening link and out to outside the world with sending things from Bahrain continuously because of the franchise. And I think Safa at that time said they will come up with ideas or something to support us to be able to at least generate that kind of manual or that kind of things for the franchise. I would like to hear that something, because this is a very important document for us for thinking how to export our manufacturing itself outside to become a franchise part of it, which is anywhere around the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Aslam. Again, it's always a pleasure to hear from you. You're absolutely right. The internationalization that Fatma explained is one of our top priorities for this year in specific. And our priority for 2020, because of the pandemic, was basically to increase, to tap into new markets. Well, alhamdulillah, we tapped into 18 new markets. This year around, it will be more focused on service exporters, and it will be more on internationalization support, which the solution is about supporting businesses through facilitations and other support to establish business presence in international markets, similar in line with what you've mentioned, for which Export Bahrain is in the process of developing service package to help and support them in identifying relevant and potential export locations and partners, in addition to supporting them in setting up their business and commercial registration in international markets in collaboration with our partners and networks. So this will include creating franchise manuals and other relevant guides and toolkits, which will be all available by Q4 this year, inshallah. So it's not only about export promotion or deal flow for us, but the next big step is to support Bahraini franchises to set up in international markets, inshallah.
Thank you very much.
Right, we have one last question from Mr. Rashid Al-Snan. He's asking about trademark registration. Do you provide assistance with regard to trademark registration?
Not at the moment, but we will be, this is something that we are looking into it. So this has to be studied definitely, and inshallah we'll be able to come up with a certain solution to meet this, to address this, the trademarking assistance registration very soon, inshallah.
Inshallah. If I may add on to the trademarking, and even if you're not into providing the service, I think it is very important for you to alert your exporters that they need to trademark to the countries that they're exporting, so that they can be protected. And trademarking today is not that difficult. You can do it online. You can do it through various legal offices in Bahrain. It's literally honestly not rocket science. It can be easily done. But as soon as any entrepreneur is starting a relationship with any country outside Bahrain, the first thing on the agenda should be that they need to trademark their brand identity.
Right, thank you, Ms. Sonia. Would you like to wrap up?
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Safa, Fatma, Raja, for sharing your experience. Thank you for everybody who posted a question or raised a question. This has been the most interesting, interactive session that we've had today. We look forward to you helping us in spreading this information about Export Bahrain to your contacts, to your colleagues, to your groups. They are here to support you. Bahrain Chamber is here to support you. So please, let's work together to ensure that, Your Excellency Ambassador Dhafar noted, we reach the maximum, whether it's the young generation, the small micro entrepreneurs, or even the middle-sized, because especially with the pandemic, the best possible option to sustain the business models in Bahrain and to sustain the SMEs, which represent 99% of the Bahrain Chamber members, is to make sure that they have the exposure to go beyond Bahrain. And genuinely, thank you to everybody. Thank you to Export Bahrain. Thank you to everybody who participated and joined this webinar.
Thank you, Mrs. Sonia Janahi. And I would like to thank Mrs. Safa and Fatma for joining us today and enriching this webinar. And I would like to also thank everyone who joined us today as well. I would like just to remind everyone that you can watch this webinar again on YouTube, our YouTube channel of the Chamber, of the Bahrain Chamber. Thank you, and hopefully we'll see you in future.